covering sport.
Media at SAFM with Ashraf Gardner.
Right, we're going to chat later on. By the way, Natalie Germanis is an award winner as well, Best Commentator at the SAB Sports Media Awards. We're going to talk to her after 10 o'clock. We'll also chat about Liquifruit and that ad, and then we'll also chat to Kaya Dlanga about, how to be a successful blogger. And I suggest that's some advice that you may want to take pretty seriously indeed. But for now, probably another drum roll as well, because we've got another award winner here. Velile Mbuli is with me. He's a sports journalist for the SABC, of course. Mainly radio, I think it is. We'll find out more about that. But specifically, and not to get confused, we had the sports media, the SAB, as in SA Brewery Sports Media Awards a few days ago on Thursday. But last week, Sunday, you had the SA, as in the National Sports Awards. And that one there, Velile Mbuli was judged, Best Sports Journalist of the Year.
Yes,
right.
yes.
So well done. Congratulations on that win.
Thanks a lot, Ashraf. And I think for me, it was well received. I've had a lot of people congratulating me and feeling that it was well deserved. I mean, I was here, I think, 2 years ago when I won the SAFA Radio Journalist of the Year award in 2010. It's also good. I don't think there's any better moment than being recognized in your own country for having contributed towards the advancement of sport in your country, and especially since these were national awards, which just confirmed. It was very good to be recognized, but not only just for myself, but also for all the 18 SABC radio stations that I represent, including SAFM.
Why do you think you won? What did they tell you?
Well, I think looking at the awards and also looking at the criteria and also some of the things that you were judged on, you should have contributed towards the advancement of sport, I've just said, and also mainly your work should have been balanced between elite sport and development. And I think in the last 18 months, it's something that I've managed to do and consistently updating the nation on, especially on development. I remember I went to Poland to do the semi-final, to cover the semi-final of the Euro. It was Germany against Italy. And I came back on Friday, in fact on Saturday, and that Saturday it was the Gauteng Sports Awards. On that Saturday night, I won the Gauteng Sports Award, Gauteng Journalist of the Year in the Gauteng Sports Awards. That was now in June. The following day, I had to go and cover netball the whole week.
Okay, wow.
in Cape Town. It was university netball.
So you're incredibly versatile.
Yes. So you find that for me, it's easy to move from elite sport to development, irrespective of whether it's not a big sporting code or it's netball, because this was not even.
So why is it easy for you?
Playing.
Most people find it difficult. They get hooked onto one sport and that's what they love. And even in the same sport, the development aspect of the same sport. So, for example, if you're talking soccer and we're talking, say, Bafana or PSL or world football, to then, say, cover an under-17 tournament, they can't connect. It's a different world for them. Why can you get it right when others can't?
It's very easy for me, Ashraf. I've been covering sport since I was 15. I've been a sports reporter for the past 15 years. Started through FM, one of the stations here in the Eastern Cape. And for me, even for me to be on radio, to be a sports journalist or to be a sports reporter, I was bringing fixtures and results for our junior league. So from then they said, no, come and read them on air yourself. And then that was way back in 1997. So that's how it started. And
was the plan for you always to get into media? Is that what you wanted, or did that happen by chance?
It happened by chance because I wanted to study something different.
Like what?
I wanted to be a lawyer when I.
Okay.
But way back in 97, this opportunity presented itself, and from that day, I was told to come and read the features for myself on radio. Things never change. So for me, from that moment, it's something that I grew up doing. I grew up covering Border Bears, Border Bulldogs. Border Bears was a cricket team. Border Bulldogs was a rugby team in the Eastern Cape, competing in the Currie Cup as well, the first division. And I would cover bushbucks and boxing. And these are all elite sport, professional, in one weekend. So for me to jump from this sporting code to this sporting code and covering development.
Let me just say this. Yeah. Anybody wants to say hi to Velile, please do call in 0891 104207. 0891 104207. If you want to congratulate the SABC sports reporter Velile Mbuli winning the overall Sports Journalist of the Year. Fantastic achievement for him. That's at the SA Sports Awards last week, in fact. We'll talk to Natalie Germanis after 10 o'clock. So now, I mean, the fact that you've won, what does it mean for you and your career? Because I'm suggesting, as I often talk to people, one of the things when you win, you have to leverage that victory. You got to negotiate better deals for yourself in terms of your own career. I mean, what's it going to do for you?
Well, I think because I think you asked me a similar question 2 years ago,
okay.
And when I won that SAFA award, and I felt that at that stage I was still growing in the industry because I was used from working with one station, and now all of a sudden I have to move and accommodate. In fact, getting used to informing or working with 18 radio stations. For now, I feel that when awards like this, especially this being a national award, when they come, there has to be some change. There has to be some improvement, not only in the working conditions, but also the employers have to recognize that work. And it's something, fortunately for me, the award was presented by our Group Chief Executive Officer, Sis Lulama.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
And also Mr. Imtiaz Patel from Randburg, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone was there to see. Even our head of sports, Susan Zimande, he was there to see the recognition and also the kind of work. And I mean, the hours were broadcast on SABC 1 as well. So in terms of the coverage, everybody could see. So the expectations, obviously, not only from the viewers but also the listeners, is that now this guy has been winning awards. What to for him? I think that question can best be answered by the powers that be.
Where would you like to go anyway?
Well,
it's only you can answer.
Before last year, I was hoping to maybe even go overseas and continue doing some work there. But I visited the Talksport Radio in UK. There are studios there, and also I've done some work on BBC as well, and also assisted them. What I've learned is that there is no need for me to go overseas. What is important is for me to remain in my country and make sure that the field that I'm working in, I work to the best of my abilities, so that we can inform our people better, we can educate them, we can entertain them much better. But what is important is that in the last 2 years I've traveled a lot to South America, to Europe, to Asia, covering different games as well. So what I've learned in all these countries is that there is no need sometimes to go overseas, but what is important is that you have to learn on what's happening, because as they usually say, traveling opens your mind.
What's it like, covering sport in this country? And I'm talking now, leaving aside development, I'm talking about national sports. There's the results, there's the politics around it, there's the issues of transformation. I'm almost suggesting if you were a sports reporter in another country, it's pretty dull. It's pretty straightforward. There's just so many different angles you have to know about sport to be effective as a reporter.
Oh, exactly. I mean, just this past week, I was covering boxing. I did a story on boxing, and you find that within that one story I was doing, there's something where you're updating, but also there's the political side of it as well. And also football. This week, I covered some games. Sundowns and Parades being one of them, and also there's a part where we usually get most of our stories from, the post-match, and we clash with coaches sometimes. Okay. And this week I did clash with one of the coaches who I believe that is only few minutes away from going to our Tambo Airport.
Of the great Johan Nieuwskens.
Oh yes.
And I say great because I think he was an amazing footballer, probably one of the best teams never.
Yes, I'm talking about him. I'm talking about him. In fact, well, he's been very good to me in the past year or so since he came to Sundowns. But also, there are those tough questions that some journalists don't want to ask, but one has got to ask them.
Okay, you got some sound about that, right?
Yes.
Let's hear. This is Velile Mbuli in action rather.
I don't gonna plan. I'm gonna think about the next game and try to win it. I don't gonna plan, and I don't gonna say, hey, I want to be winning the Champions League, or I'm gonna win this league, or I want to be in number 4 or whatever that is. You have to take it day by day and game by game. And that is where we're going. We try to prepare every game as good as possible and get the results, and then we see where we're ending.
How's the mood in the dressing room after this?
What do you think? No, they're dancing. Now, come on. What do you think?
I was not there, you were there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I said enough.
So what happened next? So just give us somebody obviously maybe batting to pick up the sound. What happened there?
This was after their 3-1 loss to Orlando Pirates during the week. And, I felt that the press conference was going on, and nobody was putting him on the spot at that time. In fact, it even resulted in this column written by one of the journalists that I respect, Matsalana Mamabolo, on the Star. Because then followed questions from Mark Gleason and also John DeMark as well. And Johannes continued to dismiss them in a very unpleasant manner, which I think it's got to do with the pressure that he's feeling at the moment. His team being the
wealthiest team at bottom of the log.
expensively assembled team. Now they're rock bottom after 10 games. And after 10 games in the league, and you don't have to take it necessarily from this season. You have to look from last season, their last 6 matches. Then you'll find that Sundowns have only 1 game in the last 16 league matches. So obviously, usually at Sundowns that calls for dismissal. We've seen coaches being dismissed. But
So you think it's finally going to go? They played today, right?
They played last night.
In fact, yesterday, last night
I covered that game, and they drew 1-1 against Amatax. The problem there, and most people have not been noticing this. The problem, and they will say, Mr. Petrus Motsepe has been lenient with this coach, but the problem is that Neaskins is not just here alone as an individual. He's here also on a ticket of Johan Cruyff Foundation, which is mainly doing the development work of Sundowns. So his work is linked to that development.
And that's why he stayed?
Yes.
Otherwise he'd be gone.
Because there's a big project going on there. So it's just that it's different because we've seen in the past Henry Michel, Christos Stoichkov, and a host of other coaches who've been easily dismissed at Sundowns. But this time, it's different. How is it gonna go on? No. We'll have to see. But they have a crucial Telkom knockout semi-final next week.
And we'll see what happens there.
All
right, just from your side, does doing the sports beat, does it take the fun out of sport for you? Because you love sport, but then you find yourself getting into trouble with sports coaches and asking them difficult questions that they don't like you, etc., etc. Does it take the fun out of sport for you?
It has become a hobby for me, covering sport, and there's no other thing that I know besides covering sport in all these years. In fact, even if maybe here at work they would say, well, maybe you have to come and join the SABC News team and cover politics or another bit, I doubt if I'll be interested, because I've found a way of juggling around and coming up with new things on covering sport. So you obviously, when you cover sport, there will be those days where there will be transformation issues. You'll be fighting with the coaches. Maybe some administrators will feel that you are crowding their space, and also you'll be running into trouble with the players or sometimes even the fans themselves. So you have to live with it. It comes with the territory. I don't have a problem with it. As I had said, I've been doing it for the past 15 years. I've been doing it for the past 15 years, and I've covered tennis, boxing, football. I've been. So
are you doing any writing? I mean, you do radio mainly.
Yes.
TV and writing, is that part of what your plans are?
Well, in the last few weeks, occasionally there's been some TV work that the company has tried to to get me to do. I hope going forward that maybe I can be doing that regularly. I remember when I started back in '97, I used to write for a community newspaper back in the Eastern Cape, which was linked to the Daily Dispatch. I ended up being a Daily Dispatch correspondent, and I've also written for Kickoff magazine as well, but as way back in the past. But then you find that when you've been on radio and you write for radio, there's a huge difference between writing for radio and writing for print. And after more than 15 or 10 years writing for radio, and to go back and write for print, it's going to be a huge adjustment. So you need to prepare maybe 2 months and go on a refresher course or something, because it's a different animal.
How different is it, very quickly?
Well, it's different in the sense that in radio it's scripts, and it's going to be very short scripts. But also writing for print is going to be an article. But then again, you'll find that there are people who can easily do that. Like my colleague, Vatango Beni. He's now the acting sports editor at Pretoria News. So he writes for radio, but also he's on print as well.
Yes,
but it's something that he's been doing. It was not easy for him to also come on do the radio scripts, but then again, after a few months, he's mastering it.
He's got into it. All right, let's leave it at that.
But other people don't have a problem with it. But there's one thing, when we're in press conferences, you'll find people tweeting and tweeting the press conference, but I feel like, I work on radio. And, there's one thing people don't realize. There are radio stations that you'll find that outside SABC, for them it's easy. They've got, they're covering this LSM what to this LSM 10. I don't have that luxury. Because I work with stations that are covering from LSM 1 to LSM 10.
Yes.
Now, you find that in one script, you have to accommodate all those people. You've got SAFM, they will have Nick Bauer, who will be reading a sports bulletin, and with this kind of expectation on Stephen Keka, and then you will have on Ukhozi, on Mungana, on Umhlobo, people who will be broadcasting to this kind of
and you need to be very adaptable to all of that.
Yes. So in one script, you have to accommodate all those kind of people. So some of the people, mainly the African language stations that we are covering, so you find that they're not even on Twitter. That's why I've linked my Twitter account to my Facebook account, so that because the people that follow me mainly and who listen to my work are not even on Twitter, are on Facebook.
More on Facebook. Okay.
So it's something that as we move forward, people tend to ignore that and not take into consideration that some people are still not there. How do we accommodate them?
Okay, good point indeed. Velile, thanks so much for your time. Well done on that award. I have a feeling it's not the end of it. The reign continues and will continue and reign in those awards, no question about it. On a personal level, I can tell you now, often when we speak about people and South Africans, we say, we're a lazy nation, or we don't have a good work ethic. I know, having worked with Velile personally, I think he's probably got one of the finest work ethics I've ever seen, and I say that with the absolute commitment that it means. Okay, great work ethic, works extremely hard, and all the rewards therefore that come to him are absolutely deserved, and no question about that. Velile Mbuli, winner, Journalist of the Year at the South African Sports Awards. We'll talk to Natalie Jamanas after 10 because she won Best Commentator at the SAB Sports Media Awards. But let's talk about liquid fruit light after this. Fruit light after this.